What's up, YouTube? Um, I got another one for you. Hits just keep coming, don't they? Somewhere along my video timeline, I did a exclusive that was based on me agreeing with Candence Owens, and lo and behold, here I am again agreeing with Candence Owens. Now, I made a video prior to this one I'm doing right now in reference to what my thoughts were on the gay community. I had to set the record straight before doing this video because I know if YouTube allows my videos to reach a broad audience or whatever, I'm sure when it comes to the comment sections, which for the most part, you know, nobody has yet to comment under my comment sections with the exception of a few here and there. But with that being said, let's talk about men in dresses and the controversy surrounding what Candence Owens had to say about it. Okay? I don't disagree with Candence Owens because she stated her opinion, and her opinion stands where it stands. Okay? Everybody in this day and age has their thoughts and opinions and their point of views and their perspectives on many topics discussed. But it seems like the forbidden one to even mention, talk about, or touch upon has to do with anything remotely directed towards the the masculating of men. It's like, whoo, don't touch that subject. Don't dare talk about that. Why? Why not talk about it? I mean, it's blatantly put in our face what people are doing in reference to. I'm gonna say this: when it comes to Hollywood and their influence, and Candace Owens spoke about this. When kids are distracted, you know, they look at what's on TV and they are captivated by all these ads and all these images, and you know, pretty much the TV has children's undivided attention. As such, entertainment has children's undivided attention as such. So when you start programming these kids, and I keep talking about it, when you start to program these kids and you're sending these subliminal messages, one of which are men in dresses, and it's taking away from the masculinity of men. Now, as I said before in my other video, when people decide to grow into their own, to each is his own. But when you have people who are raised based on tradition and they are for a man and a woman coming together, a man has the identity as such, dressed as a man, shirts, pants, shoes, boots, blazers, tuxedos, you know, pants, you know, uh, the representation as such when you're looking at the image. Same thing with a female. You know, you see a woman that's maybe in a t-shirt, maybe some baggy pants or tight-fitted jeans or dresses or spandex, you know, or you know, sports bras. You know, they're not dressed in like uh, overalls or tuxedo suits and stuff. I mean, Like I said, to each is his own. But just as people who speak up for how they feel that they should represent themselves, and they have that right. Well, there are those who speak up for, the traditional values that they have grown to be a part of as well. And when someone says, hey, I want masculine men, I don't want a feminine man. I don't want a man in a dress. That is not what I'm promoting in my life. And like I said, people have a right to their point of view. People have a right to argue against it. People have a right to agree to it. People have a right to disagree with it. I'm, in reference to this point, I'm in agreeing with Candence Owens with this. Because it's not so much of me having a problem with the man in a dress. It's me having a problem with the agenda behind it. I mean, somebody might disguise it as, oh, it's a fashion statement. Okay, well, if you're speaking in reference to kilts and bagpipes to represent a culture of sorts, you know what I'm talking about, then okay, fine. I understand that. But when you are of a certain influence, such as those in Hollywood, who target particular audiences, I'm just saying. And this particular topic of discussion isn't anything new. It isn't by far anything that just been presented recently. This has been spoken over some time now. People who spoke up about and against it were those such references such as Cat Williams, Eddie Griffin, and even Dave Chappelle. Some of the things they had to deal with when going to certain auditions and what the requirements were of getting a role, and it's crazy because a lot of which that people have noticed, and it seemed kind of, what's the word am I looking for? Convenient that the most targeted demographic are black men. And some of which, based on the testimonies of people coming out of Hollywood who are black actors, give some of the horror stories of, hey, I've been to that acting audition, and this is some of the things that they wanted us to be okay with and agree to in terms of signing this particular contract and getting this role. And when they refused, the attitudes of those that basically held their careers in their hands had a different attitude towards them because they thought for themselves and was like, no, I reject this. No, I'm not cool with this. Is there another avenue or another role up as an option that I could take? And they said some of the backlash that they got from rejecting certain roles that would require them to put on a dress. I mean, how is that fair? There's another case in point. I was looking up a lot of things in regards to Michael Jackson. Because growing up, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, from the Jackson 5 to his Off the Wall to the Thriller to, his Bad and This Is It and other albums and stuff. But during some of the photo shoots, and there was one in particular where it showed that this guy wanted Michael to have his shirt and unbuckle his pants and this and that, and you could see the level of uncomfortableness that Michael Jackson was dealing with, and he didn't want to do it. And for a lot of people that attack Michael Jackson, was saying that he was gay and this and that, and he messed with little boys. Okay, well, you can argue that based on whatever type of examples that may have allowed you to go along with that rhetoric. But when you saw this particular video of this photo shoot, there was nothing about Michael Jackson that stood out that said that that man was gay, feminine, or anything of that nature. And you could see how uncomfortable he was when he was basically forced to take the direction of the photographer during that photo shoot that put him in a compromising position. And he didn't like that. This is Michael Jackson that we're talking about, where controversy by itself followed and surrounded him during the time that he was here. Now, people say, why such a big deal? Why should you be concerned about it? It doesn't affect you in any way. Well, to answer that question, if it was something that was in the privacy of, I would agree to that. But when you put it on the forefront for everybody to see, for people's opinions and comments and point of views and whatever it is that they had to say about it be available for open dialogue to happen and occur, no matter which side of the pendulum the persuasion of agreeing with or not agreeing with swing in favor or not favor of, still. And that's that's another thing that I don't get about public perception. People always tell you what you can and cannot say. They always tell you unless it's deemed acceptable in their favor. But if it's not deemed acceptable in their favor, they don't want you to say a damn thing that doesn't favor their point of view. I'm sorry, that's not how the world works. That doesn't give you access to free thought, to think along your own, not just to go along, just to get along, and always be in agreement of. Part of the reason why I said a lot of things that Candence Owens has said in some of her topics, I didn't agree with. I had a right to disagree, because there are certain things about some of her rhetoric that I wasn't on board with. But there's a lot of things that she does point out are validated. But nonetheless, it's funny when you say, okay, case in point. If a person has already have always been brought up to say, I like chocolate ice cream, I don't want nothing added to it, I like to eat it plain. Someone else comes along and say, well, you can no longer have chocolate ice cream unless you have syrup, whipped cream, and sprinkles put on it. But I just want my chocolate ice cream plain. I don't want all that added nonsense to my ice cream. Why can't I just have my ice cream as is? Well, unfortunately, we can't allow you to have your ice cream just being offered to you plain. You have to add all these unnecessary things to it in order for you to have it to eat and enjoy. But I can't enjoy it if I'm not allowed to eat it the way I wanted to eat it. You see where I'm going with this? You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because And it's a problem because sometimes people don't take the time to sit and listen. They try and dissect what people say and change the narrative and flip it so they can say that somebody is anti this or anti that. And 9 times out of 10, that's not always the case. It's just saying, I just don't agree with it. You can do whatever you want to do, but I don't agree with it. It's like some people say, hey, I like, having a man by my side or having a woman by my side. I like having a husband or I like having a wife. I like having children. I like having to be able to give birth by the person that I've decided to spend the rest of my life with and raise a family. But because of the way things are going nowadays, it's like that common traditional value is being compromised because people want you to conform to something else. And it's like she said, hey, you don't want people to change you, but why are you trying to change other people? Why are you trying to influence other people to be like you? And like I said, people love to get all complicated. And I'm about simplicity. Like I said, people, and here's the irony. People love to talk about who are of a certain community that target people who are straight, bash them, and make them ashamed of being straight. As if to say, because of what we endured as being on this side of the fence with our sexual preference and identity and stuff, it's our turn to shame you. I'm like, aha, now we're in position of power. And you see that more so in Hollywood. The Amazing Lucas make a reference, and the term that he uses is the G Mafia. Oh, if you don't do what they expect you to do, be prepared to deal with the consequences because you're going to get yeeted. And they're going to make life for you very, very, very difficult. And they're going to put a certain term and label on you to make you say that you're this phobia or that phobia. And it's gotten to a point people are sick and tired of it. It's just like, if you want people to set you for who you are or whatever it is that, you represent, for, like I said in my other video, there's a way to go about it, a right way to go about it, and there's a wrong way to go about it. And that demanding by force with repercussions and threats and shaming isn't the way to go. Isn't the way to go. And then if somebody say, hey, I don't agree with that, and they have a right to not agree with that, how are you going to be mad at them? Because they are of traditional value, whereas you are not. They have a right to speak on certain things, just as you have a right to speak out against them speaking on certain things. But there's a lot of people who feel that their way of life is being threatened and compromised, and their traditional values is being compromised, and it's like they want to preserve where they are at, and they have a right to preserve that. Flip side, would you want them to go and disrupt whatever it is that you got going on over there? No, you wouldn't. You'd fight tooth and nail. And it's like I try to see where people are coming from on both sides, but it's just, I don't know. This subject is like, on some levels, it's very controversial to even discuss. You're going to trigger some emotion, and unfortunately, it's not unacceptable, unavoidable, because people are going to be in their feelings regardless, and people are going to have such convictions about it. They are. But like I said, it comes down to respect. But I don't know, cause I guess it's I guess it's how should I put this? I guess it's how you represent yourself, where you're going to be the determining factor of how you come across as either a positive influence or a negative influence, and how you will be received, and how you go about it. Most people, and I think that's where people get it messed up, because they feel offended when you say, okay, you know what? You don't like me because I'm black, or you don't like me because I'm gay, or you don't like me because such and such. But if you presented yourself in a particular way that wasn't positive to begin with, and you did it in such a nasty fashion with such disrespect and vulgarness, that anybody in their right mind is going to be turned off, and they ain't going to want to hear a damn thing or be in agreement with whatever it is that you're trying to promote. Vice versa. But people don't look at it like that. They're all about what they say go, and that's it. You don't have a say. And if you do, be prepared for the backlash. But one thing people keep forgetting is that we live in a country where people are granted rights. And those rights, whether you're on this side or that side, might clash. So it is what it is. But as far as that dress thing goes, um, I think it's just beyond making a fashion statement. I think it's trying to emasculate men, um, try to make people more accepting of men being just feminine all across the board. And if you're a man who is like about, representing yourself as such as a man, now you're the ones being looked down upon and ridiculed and stuff like that. And I don't see how there was a switch to where that has been acceptable. And I don't know. It's just something else. But for those who didn't like what Candence Owens had to say, you had that right. It is what it is. But in regards to me, I agree with the sister. You know, she has a point. And when you're talking about the nuclear family just being torn apart, that right there is what she was trying to convey to people who are just like, you don't know what you're talking about. They're not trying to do that. Okay. But anyway, until next time, until next video.